Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From July 4th through August 26th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a set of all 4 Commander 2019 decks. Also, there is another way to enter where no purchase is necessary. See the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and today we have some preview cards to look at from Commander 2019. In the description below, you will see a link to the official list of which content creators premiered each card if you are curious. We're going to look at all the cards that have been previewed for the Faceless Menace deck. There's a lot of them, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's get right into it. The front-facing card for this deck is Kadena Slinking Sorcerer. Now, we talked about this at length last weekend when it was previewed at Gen Con, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it today. We'll move on to the next card relatively quickly. But in case you're not aware, the basis of this deck is Morph. Not just Morph either, it's Morph, Megamorph, and Manifest, which you're going to see as we go through the cards today. Obviously, this will be a great complement to those cards in this deck. Here's your second foil card, Rayami, First of the Fallen. This could be your commander out of the box if you choose. However, when you look at the deck list today, this is not going to interact as well as Kadena with the cards that you get here. With that being said, though, if you really like this card, you could always upgrade the deck in this direction, or you could pull this card out and completely build a new deck around it. So what does this do? Well, it's a vampire, so that's always interesting to note. And if a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead. Notice it doesn't say your creature, it could be any creature. Opponent's creatures count. And if a creature dies, it gets exiled with a blood counter. And if it has any of the mechanics that are listed on the card, then Rayami's going to have that mechanic. And over time, that could get very, very powerful, especially if you could get hexproof, indestructible, various protections on it, so on and so forth. As time goes on, the card does get stronger and stronger. So one way to look at this is I could build a deck with a lot of creatures with these mechanics. Maybe some of them have multiples of these mechanics as well, and they will die over time. And as they do, this card gets better. Or maybe I even sacrifice them for some other benefit, and this card gets stronger in the process. Or perhaps I just go ahead and play a lot of removal, target my opponent's creatures that have these various mechanics and try to get value that way. Could be a fun build. Here's your third foil card, and it's a classic character, Volrath the Shapestealer. Okay, so much like the previous card, I don't know if I want to use this over Kadena in this deck as is, but again, if I wanted this to be my commander badly enough, I could just build around it or upgrade the deck in this direction. So what does this do? Well, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Pay 1 until your next turn. Volrath the Shapestealer becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it's a 7/5 and it has this ability. Okay, so consider this for a moment. It doesn't have to be the -1/-1 counters you're spreading around with this. It can be any counter. So if you have an opponent that put a +1/+1 counter on one of their creatures, this can turn into that on the fly. Now, the base stats are always 7/5. You can't really change power toughness, but you can change different abilities on the fly. That could be very powerful. You might want to play this alongside cards like Experimental Kraj or Hipatra, Vizier of Poisons. Or you could just put this in your Atraxa deck. Yeah, you're probably just going to put this in your Atraxa deck, aren't you? Kadena's Silencer. Now, we did talk about this card previously, since it was another card previewed at Gen Con, so won't spend a ton of time on it. Does have Megamorph. Fits in perfectly here. And also notice that it does say when you turn it face up, counters all abilities your opponents control. So if you have a couple opponents getting into like an ability war back and forth, you could kind of hose both of them. Leadership Vacuum, another card from Gen Con. They're all kind of lumped together at the beginning for the most part. So yes, we did talk about this one already. If you want my full thoughts, check out that video from the weekend where we talked about the art and the flavor and everything. But let me just quickly say this about the card. Cantrips, 3 casting cost instant. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone. So that does not target the actual commander, meaning gets around Shroud, gets around Hexproof. This can also impact partner commanders. It can impact a Planeswalker commander. And also, you can protect your own commander with it or obviously disrupt what your opponent's doing. Here's some great alliteration. Sudden Substitution, which is a split second spell, by the way. This is a 4 casting cost. Exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. Then the spell's controller may choose new targets for it. Okay. Another card that doesn't necessarily have to involve you in the interaction, like if it does, wonderful. If not, maybe an opponent casts a spell and you say, you know what? I'm going to have so-and-so take control of that spell. You're going to take this creature from them instead. Have at it. Just kind of meddle in their affairs. It seems like it could be fun. There does have to be an exchange, though, of a creature and a spell. But this could also be a very spiky card. Imagine playing this with one with nothing, for example. You're going to take somebody's creature and make them discard their hand? That's just mean, right? But you can do meaner things if you want to. Think about the Pact cycle. Now, before I get into that, Pact of Negation. There's a way for an opponent to not lose the game if you use Pact of Negation with this, even if they can't pay the upkeep cost. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to get into the crazy rules nuances, but just long story short, because taking control of the Pact and redirecting it is part of the spell's resolution, the spell will stay on the stack until that happens. This and Pact of Negation are already on the stack. So the opponent does have the opportunity to redirect Pact of Negation to Sudden Substitution on the stack. If they do, Sudden Substitution finishes resolving. Pact doesn't have a target, it fizzles, so they don't have to pay the upkeep cost. However, the other pacts do work, so if you do give them a different pact, if they can't pay that cost, yeah, they're going to lose the game. That's pretty spiky. So I don't know if that would be consistent enough in competitive Commander, maybe, but I feel like most play groups probably wouldn't appreciate that in a normal game of Commander. So yeah, there's fun things you can do with this card. There's also more serious things you could do with this card. Thought Sponge, good Commander card. I don't have a lot to say about it. When an opponent's drawing a lot of cards, flash this into play. Yeah, eventually you'll be drawing a lot of cards when it does die. In the meantime, you got a big creature. Nothing wrong with that for 4 mana. Gift of Doom. This is a sweet card. So on the surface, you could play this just as an enchantment aura. Black and 4, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has death touch and indestructible. Or, check out the rest of the card. Morph, sacrifice another creature. As Gift of Doom is turned face up, you may attach it to a creature. Remember as well that Morph does not use the stack. So you could really surprise an opponent with this and they can't do a whole lot about it. Now consider this, if I have some face down cards and my opponent thinks this could be one of them, they might back off a little bit and go and attack somebody else. This is a very, very good card. I love the design here. Thieving Amalgam. This is just a fun card. 6/7, 2 black and 5. It's an ape snake. And to every opponent's upkeep, you get to manifest the top card of their deck. Alright. And whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, its owner loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Your opponents are probably not going to be real happy with you when this is on the table. They're not going to love you just taking their cards and then doing whatever with them. And when they die, you're draining their life. It will be a target, but it might be a fun ride in the meantime. Just try to keep track of who owns what to the best of your ability, though. That could get confusing, I would think. Apex Altasaur. Okay, so this maybe feels a little weird in a Morph deck, but it's a solid card. 2 green and 7. 10/10. When this enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. In Rage, whenever this is dealt damage, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So this would be great with Gift of Doom, which we saw a few moments ago. If you could make this indestructible, yeah, that would be amazing. But even if you're just playing fair with this card, kill a bunch of creatures, you can stop at any time because it does say up to 1, so you don't have to keep going until this is dead or anything like that. Yeah, this is really solid. I mean, it's a dinosaur. We're always looking for more of those. Sure, it doesn't have trample or anything, but if you take out some key creatures, more than good enough. Road of Return. I love Entwine cards. This is Entwine 2. 2 green is the startup cost. Choose one. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, or put your commander into your hand from the command zone. So that second ability kind of reminiscent of Command Beacon. This is great. Gets around commander attacks if you need to. I could see green decks just generally wanting to run a copy of this for the most part, especially if they care a lot about their commander and their given strategy. Grismold the Dreadsower. Okay, this is a legendary creature. If you wanted to build around this, this could be a commander. 3/3 for 3, trample. At the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. Whenever a creature token dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this. Does not have to be the plant tokens it's creating. Can be any token. Alright, so in a token heavy build, this will be a great complement. Tokens will die, this gets bigger. Or you can be a little more malicious with this and actually sacrifice the tokens. Maybe this would combo well with Plague Engineer, Pestilence. Yeah, there's actually some cool interactions with this card. You could play this with Slimefoot the Stowaway and go with Saproling tokens as a theme. I really like this one a lot. Pendant of Prosperity. On the surface, this just feels like a really cool political card, right? For Commander or any multiplayer game. I can play this, give it to somebody, and then we both get a benefit from it. Okay, that's one way to look at it, but there's another way. If you can steal the card back, that's tons of value. Alright, so how do you do that? Things like Deck Faceless or anything that could steal an artifact. Cards like Brand or anything that will let you take cards you own back. That's what you want to do with this card. Scaretiller, another card from last weekend's Gen Con previews, so again, we won't go into all the detail. But if you're interested in some cool combos you can do with this card, check out the video from the weekend because we did talk more about that. Today, I'll just simply say whether you're trying to combo with this card or just play fair, really solid card, not just for Reaper King fans either. This is really good, and you can find one in each of the 4 different commander decks, which is cool. Scroll of Fate, yeah, this is a sweet card even if I'm playing fair. 3 casting cost artifact, tap, manifest a card from your hand. But you don't want to play fair, do you? What can we do with this thing? Let's see. Well, I could manifest Omniscience out of my hand and then play Cloud Shift to flicker it into play. Yeah, that could be a big turn. Or I could use Phage the Untouchable, but remember, you can't flicker Phage into play because that will actually make you lose the game. You would have to actually turn the card. So something like Break Open, Isadore Reality Sculptor could do that for you. Yeah, this card could lead to some pretty big things. Okay, there's 2 cards that are new that Wizards just did not preview yesterday. They did say they were going to reveal the whole deck, so I guess they just kind of missed these 2 cards, but we just don't know what they do right now. Muddle and Misery is one. The second one is called Voice of Many. If I find out, I will update you in one of the future videos this week. Okay, are you ready for some reprints? We're going to go a little quicker through the reprints because they don't really add anything new. Remember, when it comes to the new cards, they are not modern legal, they are not standard legal, but they are legal in the Eternal format. So all the new cards we just looked at, you could play in Vintage or Legacy if you wanted to, but these cards being reprints are just legal wherever they were legal before. Chrome Shell Crab is your first one, and this gets some new art. Echoing Truth, this sees modern Legacy play, little Vintage play too, and this is pauper legal as well. Ixodron gets some new arts, and you know the other printings of this are $2 to $3, so not bad value here. Karu Spell Snatcher, this is the first time it's been reprinted, originally from Khans of Tarkir. Reality Shift, previous printings of this are about $2. Stratus Dancer, first time reprinted from Dragons of Tarkir. You get a copy of Tezzeret's Gambit. Thousand Winds is here. Vesuvian Shapeshifter with some new art. Willbender. Bane of the Living gets some new art. Ghastly Conscription, this one's a mythic. Grim Haruspex. This is from Khans of Tarkir. It also got an Ugin's Fate promo, but this is the first time since then that it has been reprinted. Solomgar Assassin, and this is the first time this has been reprinted. It's from Dragons of Tarkir. Skin Thinner gets some new art. First time it's been reprinted, but this one is from Legions. Here's another Megamorph card with Aeonach Survivalist. Cultivate shows up here. Deathmist Raptor, another mythic. This is the first time it's been reprinted, originally from Dragons of Tarkir. Den Protector. This was a powerful card in Standard back in its day. Another Megamorph card. Explorer. Sometimes you'll find this one in modern Scapeshift decks. Farseek, another card you find in modern Scapeshift decks. Great Oak Guardian. This is a $3 to $5 card for the other printings. Another card with a little value and another mythic. This is Hooded Hydra. $3 to $4 for the previous printing from Khans of Tarkir. This is the first time it's been reprinted. Nantuko Vigilante gets some new art. First reprinting. This is also from Legions. Overwhelming Stampede is here. $2 to $3 for the other printing. So again, another card that adds a little value. Secura Tribe Elder. This has been printed a lot, but it's still a $2 to $3 card just generally. Also, you'll find this in modern Scapeshift builds. It seems to be a little bit of a mini theme here. The art is actually not new, although you might not have seen it before. It was on the Friday Night Magic promo copy, and there's also Magic the Gathering online promos with this art. Seedborn Muse. Now, this one is a huge reprint. We already knew it was coming. This was actually previewed during Gen Con, but again, another card adding some value here, usually about $10 to $12, depending on which copy you grab from the past. Tempt with Discovery. This is a sweet reprint. This is an $8 to $9 card for the other printings. Great Sapperling card here. Thelonite Hermit. Trail of Mystery. This is the first time this has been reprinted. It's from Khans of Tarkir. Biomass Mutation. First reprinting. This one is from Gatecrash. Bounty of the Luxa. Another first time reprinting. This one is from Amonkhet. Icefeather Avon. This is yet another first time reprinting from Khans of Tarkir. Putrefy. Now this has been reprinted many times, but a very good card. Back to first time reprintings with Sagu Mauler. This is from Khans of Tarkir. Another card that has been reprinted for the first time from Khans of Tarkir, Secret Plans. Sultai Charm. There was a foil gift box promo copy of this card made, but if you don't count that, this is the first reprinting, and it is from Khans of Tarkir. Urban Evolution is here. Each of these commander decks have a reprinted Planeswalker in them. This one gets Vraska the Unseen. These are $3 to $4 cards if you go to pick up the Return to Ravnica copy or the foil Dual Decks Jace vs. Vraska copy. Sol Ring is here. I would assume all 4 decks will have Sol Ring again this year. And of course, this sees vintage play, and even though it gets so many printings in these Commander products, still a $5 card if you want to pick up any of these Commander versions of it. Strionic Resonator, this is a $3 to $4 card. Thran Dynamo, this one's a pretty big financial reprinting, $6 to $8 for the other copies that are non-foil. Legacy Post decks sometimes play this. Onto the lands, and here's Ash Barrens. Pauper players will be happy to see this. This is a $3 to $4 card. Bojuka Bog. This is another card Pauper players will be happy to see. This costs about $2 to $4, even though there have been a lot of printings. This also sees some modern and legacy play. Command Tower is back again. This is about a $2 to $3 card. Darkwater Catacombs, also about $2 to $3. Dimir Aqueduct. This sees Pauper play. Evolving Wilds. This also sees Pauper play. Occasionally, standard Scapeshift decks will run these too. Exotic Orchard is here. This is a $2 to $3 card. Foul Orchard. Now, they actually didn't give us the new picture of this card. I guess they missed this one, so I'm assuming the art hasn't changed. Here's the copy from Magic 2019. You get a Golgari Guildgate here. Golgari Rod Farm is also here. Sometimes modern Amulet Titan decks will run this. Jungle Hollow is here. Llanowar Waste. This is a $1 to $3 card. Myriad Landscape. This is about a $2 to $3 card. Here's a copy of Opulent Palace. Reliquary Tower, this is about a $2 to $4 card. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, this is the first time this has been reprinted. This is from Battle for Zendikar. Simic Growth Chamber, you'll find this in modern Amulet Titan decks and also some Pauper builds. Simic Guildgate is here. Standard Bant Scapeshift is running this right now. Sunken Hollow, so there's some battle lands in these decks. This is the one you'll find in this one. It's a $3 to $4 card. Now, this was in Battle for Zendikar. There was also an Expedition, but this is the first time since then that it has been printed. You get a copy of Temple of the False God. Terramorphic Expanse is here as well. This is another card that sees Pauper play. Thespian Stage. This is a pretty nice reprinting. This is about a $4 card. You'll find this in legacy decks like Lands and Depths builds. It also sees a little vintage play too. Thornwood Falls, this is in standard Bant Scapeshift right now, also sees Pauper play. You get a Woodland Stream. Yavimaya Coast, this is a $1 to $4 card depending on which copy you grab. Sometimes this shows up in modern War Prison decks. Onto the basic lands. I don't know all the different art they're going to use yet, but they did say they are using the standard Showdown art, so that's kind of cool. Here's what that island looks like, but you will get 5 islands in the deck. You're going to get 3 swamps, and here's the one using the standard Showdown art. And same thing with the forest, this time 7 copies. Okay, so that is the deck list, well, at least most of it. Once I find out what those last 2 cards are, I will let you know. Now, overall, basically, I think if you like Morph, if you like Manifest and Megamorph, then yeah, you'll enjoy this deck. If not, then maybe select another one. Power-wise, I feel like this could hold its own against the other decks out of the box. And it is a good starting point if you want to build something that's a little more competitive. You get a lot of good cards here. It's going to be a good shell going forward for you to do some different things in the future. So overall, I actually like this. I do think they put a good amount of value in this deck too. Definitely feels better than last year from what we've seen so far. Hopefully that will continue. Now tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to look at all of the cards, or at least all the cards they give us from the next deck. And that is Mystic Intellect, which is a flashback deck. But until then, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon and have a great day.